You should not move to Central Alberta if you're not ready to deal with these 5 things. What's up, everyone? It's Colton Charest here with EXP Realty, and today I want to talk about my top 5 reasons to not move to Central Alberta in 2024. Now you're probably wondering, Colton, what the heck are you talking about? You're a real estate agent in Central Alberta. Why would you tell people not to move here? And the answer is simple. It all comes down to the fact that I believe that there are reasons to move and not to move anywhere. And if you're thinking of moving somewhere, someone who cares about you is going to tell you the reasons you should not move there. When I was trying to become a real estate agent, when I was thinking about getting my license, my mentor, the first thing he did was try to talk me out of becoming a real estate agent. And that's because he knew that if I still wanted to do it after he tried to talk me out of it, that number one, I was really sure of it. And number two, he knew that he did everything that he felt he needed to do to advise me on the struggles and the hardships that you will encounter when becoming a real estate agent. So that's exactly what I want to do in this video, is just telling you and explaining to you the reasons that I found someone would not want to move to Central Alberta. It's not meant to necessarily deter you from moving here, but more giving you a sense of what life is like here in Central Alberta from someone who's lived here their whole life. So let's get right into it. Okay, so reason number 1 is probably the most relevant to talk about right now. So for those of you who don't know, as of today, the last 7 days have been some of the coldest days in a row that Alberta has ever experienced in history. We hit negative 50 with the wind chill, negative 55. It was really, really cold. So that being said, if you're thinking of moving here, the number one thing you need to be okay with is the frigid cold winters that you can experience here in Central Alberta. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some great things about winter. You know, you got your skiing, you got your snowboarding, you got your tobogganing down the hills, but there's one thing that people don't realize, and that is when it gets that cold, all that stuff gets thrown out the door, and essentially everyone tries to stay inside as much as they can to avoid the cold. We even had an emergency alert this week because of how cold it is. It's affecting the power grid. So if you're okay with the cold, you might be all right here, but if you're not, you might want to second guess yourself. Okay guys, so I'm sitting here editing this video right now, and I realized that I actually totally skipped reason number 2, which was the fact that we don't get a lot of entertainment and big concerts coming through Alberta. I just totally forgot to film that part. So that's number 2. We're going to be moving on to number 3. Bear with me, guys. Number 3 is going to be one of the biggest deterrents for most people that are thinking of moving to Alberta, and that's the fact that we are a landlocked province. So we're not a coastal province. We do not have any oceans connected to us. If you want to go and check out the ocean, you're going to have to drive or fly over to BC. That being said, we do have a lot of beautiful lakes here in Alberta that are worth checking out, but we do not have any oceans that are anywhere close. So reason number 4 to not move to Central Alberta is the landscape. So I'm talking specifically Central Alberta, but we have a lot of farmland, and it's mainly rolling hills, and there's not a whole lot to look at. The nice thing is we are less than a day away from the mountains in Banff, and you can go and spend a day out there easily. And you know, for some people that's amazing. For me, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely bearable. So you know, that's not one of the biggest reasons, but it definitely is a reason nonetheless. Okay, so the final reason to not move to Central Alberta in 2024, reason number 5, is the driving here. So if you're living in Central Alberta, that means that you're in between Edmonton or Calgary. And that means that for a lot of things that you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna have to drive to Calgary or Edmonton to get things done. Now, if you're like me and you like driving, it's not a big deal. But for people that are not a huge fan of driving, maybe you're not super comfortable on the road, you know, maybe it's not the best fit for you, or maybe you wanna think about the community you're living in and making sure that most of these things that you're gonna need are within, you know, 10, 15 minutes away. So Red Deer is a perfect example of that. If you do need something, you can typically find it here in Red Deer. And this all is not to mention the fact that in the winter, the roads get substantially worse and harder to drive on because they get icy and snowy. So all of these things are really important to keep in mind when thinking of moving to Central Alberta. All right, I guess that's it. That's my 5 reasons why I think you shouldn't move to Central Alberta in 2024. Now, that being said, of course, I love living here. I'm gonna do a video on the reasons why you should move to Central Alberta, which should be a lot more lighthearted. And maybe I'll go out and show you guys a few of the beautiful things that you can experience here in Central Alberta, so you can see what I'm talking about. But for now, I'm gonna leave you at that. I'm Colton Charest. I'm a realtor here in Central Alberta. If you have any questions or want to learn more about moving to Central Alberta, let's count how many times can I say Central Alberta in one sentence. Drop a comment below. I would love to chat with you guys and get the ball rolling. Make sure to share this with a friend. Make sure to like and make sure to hit subscribe. It really helps me out to know if you guys are liking the content I'm putting out. And I will see you guys in the next video.